There are three companies in New York and London with a power presidents dream about. They don't lend money. They don't print it. They just publish letters. 2 letters. Sometimes 3. And those letters decide how expensive it is for entire nations to borrow, which means they decide budgets, pensions, hospitals, and sometimes governments themselves. Get downgraded, and your country's debt costs explode overnight. Investors flee. Currencies slide. Prime ministers fall. 3 private companies, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch, control roughly 95% of this market. The same 3 companies that, in 2008, stamped their highest grade on financial garbage and helped detonate the global economy. An official US inquiry later called them essential cogs in the wheel of financial destruction. They were never elected. They've rarely been punished. And they're more powerful today than ever. This is the story of the ratings cartel, the choke point made of opinions. The story starts with a publisher, not a banker. In 1909, a man named John Moody had a simple idea. America was drowning in railroad bonds nobody could evaluate, so he'd grade them, like a teacher grading homework, and sell the book. It worked. Standard & Poor's followed. Fitch came too, and invented the famous AAA scale itself. For decades, these were modest research firms selling opinions to investors. 2 changes turned opinions into power. First, regulators began writing the ratings into law. Banks, insurers, and pension funds were required to hold safely rated bonds. The grade stopped being advice and became a gate. Second, and this is the twist most people miss, the agencies flipped their business model. Instead of investors paying for ratings, the borrowers being graded started paying for their own grades. Read that again. The company issuing the bond pays the agency that rates the bond. Imagine students paying their teacher per exam and choosing a different teacher if they don't like their marks. Everyone in finance knows this conflict exists. It's simply how the system works. And in 2008, the world found out what that conflict costs. In the years before the crisis, Wall Street was bundling thousands of shaky home loans into complex securities and selling them worldwide. The bundles were only sellable if they carried high ratings, so the banks brought them to the Big 3 as paying customers. And the Big 3 graded mountains of them AAA, the same grade as the United States government. Pension funds in Norway, town councils in Australia, banks in Germany, all bought risk-free American mortgage debt on the strength of those letters. Then house prices turned. The AAA paper collapsed. Trillions in value evaporated, and the global financial system nearly followed. The official inquiry's verdict was brutal. The crisis could not have happened without the rating agencies. Here's the part that completes the story. Almost nothing happened to them. Some fines years later, notably around $1 billion from S&P. No breakup, no jail, no lost dominance. Why? Because by then, the letters were wired so deeply into global regulation that the system couldn't function without its graders. They had become infrastructure, and infrastructure doesn't go to prison, because it isn't just banks they grade. It's you, through your country. Every major nation carries a sovereign rating, and that rating is a lever on its entire economy. Downgrade a country, and the interest on its national debt rises, sometimes by billions a year. Rules kick in that force cautious funds to sell its bonds automatically. The selling weakens the currency, which raises prices, which squeezes citizens who've never heard of Fitch. Watch the lever in action. Greece, 2010. Downgraded to junk, locked out of markets, forced into brutal bailouts, and a decade of austerity. Pensions cut, hospitals starved, with every downgrade tightening the vice. 2011. S&P strips the United States itself of its AAA for the first time in history, and markets convulse worldwide. In each case, the trigger wasn't an army or an election. It was a committee you can't vote for, revising an opinion. Governments rage at downgrades. They investigate, they threaten, they denounce. Then they keep courting the same 3 agencies, because without a grade from the club, you barely exist in the bond market at all. That's the definition of a choke point. Even its victims need the door. So why hasn't anyone built an alternative? People have tried. Dozens of smaller agencies exist. Europe has talked about a public rating agency for years. China built its own. None of it dents the 95%. The reason is the same network law we saw with SWIFT. A rating is only useful if everyone trusts it. Investors trust the big three because everyone else does. Regulators reference them because investors do. Borrowers pay them because regulators do. A century of accumulated trust, even trust that failed spectacularly in 2008, is a moat no startup can cross. And so the strange equilibrium holds. 3 private companies, 1 proven catastrophic failure, 0 real competitors, grading the debts of the very governments that regulate them. The graders grade their own referees. Whoever defines what's safe controls where the world's money is allowed to go. Count the doors again. This is the 5th. Ships, a few carriers. Money messages, 1 network. Risk, a few insurers. Chips, 1 Dutch company. And credit, the permission to borrow, 3 letter writers in New York and London. Notice something new this time. This choke point isn't even physical. No canal, no machine, no cable. It's made entirely of belief, and it may be the strongest one we've covered, because you can't bomb it, buy it, or build around it. You can only believe in something else. And 8 billion people don't change beliefs quickly. Next time, the opposite. The most physical choke point on Earth. A few hundred cables on the ocean floor, thinner than a garden hose, carrying almost the entire internet. And everything we've talked about in this series travels through them. They can be cut by a dragging anchor. Sometimes they are. Because in the end, the choke point economy runs on one rule. It doesn't matter who owns the money. It matters who grades it, moves it, insures it, and who owns the doors.